A very frequently asked question that I get is using the friction zone, in other words, slipping that clutch, does it cause excessive wear and tear on the motorcycle? Well, the answer is yes and no. If you abuse it, it is going to cause excessive wear and tear. If, for instance, though, you went through an exercise 4 or 5 times, then you cruised around the parking lot out of the friction zone and off of the rear brake, in other words, breeze out the bike, give it a little time to cool down, you're not going to have a problem. Also, you got to keep your revs fairly low on a Harley-Davidson like this, about twice idle speed, 2,000 RPM, 2,500 RPM. If you're revving that motor to 4,000 or 5,000 RPM while you're slipping the clutch and using the friction zone, it's going to wear it out real fast. Also, you want to make sure you keep your clutch adjusted. It's a real simple thing on this to adjust the clutch. Down here we have an adjustment. Just loosen 2 nuts on there. You turn it up and you get a little bit more play. Turn it the opposite way and you get a little bit less play in the clutch. I personally like to have that clutch or friction zone grab, well, maybe 1.5 inches from the grip. Some people like it a little bit further out. I feel that the closer it grabs, the better, because you've got much more dexterity in your hand here than when it's stretched out. If you find that while you're practicing these maneuvers, the friction zone starts to move, in other words, the clutch starts to grab a little further out, stop the bike, let it cool down a little, and then adjust it so it grabs where you want it. At times, especially on newer Harleys, it seems when the bikes are new especially, that clutch adjustment will go out quite frequently. Sometimes the clutch starts to grab just as you move it off the grip, or even when you have the clutch squeezed all the way to the grip, the bike is still chugging and wanting to move. If that happens, stop immediately, let the bike cool down for a few minutes, and adjust that clutch so that the friction zone grabs a little further out. The stock Harley clutches work fine to learn these techniques. But I have found on this particular bike we use as a training bike, I've put more than 20 people on this bike that never rode before. They tend to be a little rough on the clutch, so I replaced the clutches with Barnett. Barnett makes a heavy-duty clutch, and they virtually last forever. I haven't had a single problem with the clutch since I switched the bike to Barnett. Now, if you happen to be on a drill team and you do a lot of drill team practice, or if you like to run the police course constantly or 2 or 3 times a week, I would say go to a Barnett clutch as well.